Chapter 2. Propaganda Ministry, Wilhelmstrasse, Berlin, April 1943. A solitary black telephone sat on an empty leather-topped desk in an airless room, ringing to itself. The only source of natural light was provided by a skylight window high up in the vaulted ceiling. It struggled to give out more than a few candles' worth of light. The shrill chimes of the ringing bell reverberated off the stark brick walls. With the exception of the desk, the room was utterly devoid of furniture. The telephone continued to ring impatiently. Strewn across the faded linoleum, sheets of paper were left where they had fallen. Documents bearing the official seal of Herr Goebbels' office littered the floor. A jackboot left a muddy print on one of the sheets of paper stamped Project Zeitsprung. The office showed signs of being vacated in a hurry. Anyone looking closely through the murky gloom would have noticed the deep gouges in the lino, denoting heavy furniture being dragged over it. The edges of the door frame had been splintered and chipped, evidence of cumbersome filing cabinets filled with highly classified documents, carelessly being dragged through by the clean-up squad in their haste to evacuate the room. Sitting in the centre of the room was a wire wastepaper basket. A halo of cold grey ash had spilt over the rim, indicating the charred remains of the incinerated documents were not intended for unauthorised eyes. The office, stripped bare of its erstwhile importance, now stood empty. The only item left behind was the wooden desk, on top of which sang the ringing black telephone. It rang and rang and rang. From outside of the abandoned office came the distant sound of urgent footsteps echoing down a long corridor. They grew louder. They abruptly halted outside the heavy wood-panelled door, and a jangling of keys scraped the brass lock plate. The door burst open, revealing a tall man, dressed in the immaculately pressed field-grey uniform of an SS Schutzstaffel officer. He stepped into the room and looked around, identifying where the source of the noise was coming from. He spotted the telephone and strode across the office to reach it.